guys, happy Monday. This is Esther. If you don't know me, I am a personal trainer and nutrition coach, and I work with women to help them lose weight, become happier, healthier, and more confident by making small and sustainable changes to their day-to-day lives. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about what is the answer. So some of my recent posts, my blog post this week was about how meal plans are not the answer. And in the post, I talk about, what I think is, and I realize that not everyone has read that post, so I wanted to give you a couple of kind of actionable steps to take if you are still not convinced that that you don't need a meal plan. So if you haven't read the blog post, which I will link below, basically the gist is that if you are on a meal plan, you are not really learning to think for yourself. So if you look kind of longer term, big picture, where does the meal plan take you? Best case scenario, you get a plan that you enjoy, that you can stick to, that you can do with relative ease, and say you do reach your goal weight or whatever progress indicators you use, you get to a point that you're happy. So then what? Your body's needs likely have changed with your progress, and the point now is to be maintaining long term. So are you going to get a new meal plan that you just eat off for the rest of your life, really? So my main concern with meal plans, as I kind of outline in the blog post, is that the sustainability long term just really isn't there. You're not learning anything except how to follow something that's already been written for you, and not necessarily understanding why you're eating what you're eating or what to do in the event that that you can't eat whatever the plan says. So what if the plan calls for broccoli and you can't find any, or what if you eat a meal at a restaurant and tilapia is not available? Just sort of, it can become a crutch, and it can lead you to feel like you're either all on or all off. And when you're on, you're great, you're doing things 100%, you're weighing and measuring everything, and it's going great. But then one tiny thing, when you have to swap brown rice for white rice, and you don't know if that makes a difference, and you feel like you've fallen off and you failed, and you might as well just say fuck it for the whole day, and tomorrow you can start again. So my point is that relying on meal plans can lead to some unhealthy behaviors of kind of that binging and restricting and guilt sort of cycle. So more importantly, what I want to talk about today is a couple of the first steps to take to learn how to eat off of without a meal plan. So the first step would be to learn how to put together balanced meals, and really what that means. So if you kind of glossed over right there, and was that a little John Cena of me? I don't know. If you kind of glossed over there and were like, okay, balanced meals, like I don't know what that means, that's problem number one. When someone says protein, you should be able to identify what foods are good sources of protein. Veggies are a pretty easy one, I hope. I know there are some in there that are, a little questionable. The avocado is like technically a fruit, and the tomato and stuff. But the point being, there are, certain large groups of foods, macronutrients, that you need to be eating in pretty big amounts. And, step one is learning what those categories are. So you need protein, ideally lean protein. You need veggies. You need smart carbs, which are ideally as whole and unprocessed as possible. And you need healthy fats. So if you have no idea what foods have those things, that should be your top priority. I have a resource I'm going to link down in the comments as well, called The Ultimate Guide to Healthy Eating Made Simple, and that breaks down exactly what I'm talking about. It looks at those categories and says which foods fall into which category, and then expanding upon that, when you're putting together your balanced meals, you also need to know how much of them to be eating. So how to put together a balanced meal, obviously what foods contain them, otherwise you don't know what you're going to be eating, and then in what quantities are appropriate for you and your life and your activity level and your goals and things like that. So that really should be priority number one. And if you are not comfortable with doing those things, focus on that first. Download that guide, it's free, you don't have to pay for anything. And really try to absorb that information and, start where you are. And if this is like a completely foreign thing for you, then, try to pick one meal and say, okay, I'm going to go for a balanced meal here. Or, oh, I'm learning that my breakfasts almost never have protein. I'm going to try to add protein into my breakfast this week. Start with small goals and start incorporating in all of those components, the lean protein, the veggies, the smart carbs, the healthy fats. And then step 2 is to learn how to listen to your body's hunger and fullness cues. So a lot of our eating is cultural and societal and situational and emotional and all sorts of ulls that are not true hunger. So becoming more familiar with actually listening to your body and identifying, is this actual hunger? What does my body do when I'm hungry? Does my stomach gurgle and feel empty? Do I start to get kind of a headache? Can I tell that I'm getting irritable? That sort of thing. Or what can I kind of tune in on that is indicating that it's not actual hunger? Am I, coming home after a long day and reaching for chips because I had a long day? That sort of thing. So when you get comfortable kind of listening to what your body's saying, you also get a lot more comfortable recognizing when you are no longer hungry. So instead of just eating mindlessly and next thing you know the food's gone and you're like, all right, well I guess I'm done, or I'm going back into the kitchen for more, and you're not even really checking in with how you're feeling. When you get more comfortable with those hunger and fullness cues, you start to learn more about like, oh, okay, I'm starting to feel, not hungry and I'm not stuffed yet. That's a good point for me to stop. This also comes in really helpful when you're eating meals that you haven't cooked yourself, if you're out at a restaurant or things like that, having kind of that awareness of you're able to eyeball portions from kind of step 1, and then in conjunction with that, you're able to listen to how your body's feeling and how full you are to know, kind of when to stop, especially at restaurants where portions are sort of getting out of control. If you're able to listen to what your body is telling you, you're less likely to just keep eating because the food is there. So just to recap, those 2 steps are, number 1, learn how to put together those balanced meals with the lean protein, the veggie, the smart carb, the healthy fat components. Learn what foods contain those macronutrients and what appropriate portion sizes are for someone for someone in your situation with your background and your goals and your activity level and your body type, things like that. And then step 2, learn how to listen to your body and get more familiar with your hunger and fullness cues. So in this week's blog post, I do have 4 more steps, 6 steps total, that talk about what to do instead of a meal plan. So again, I'll be linking that below the video. And like I said, if step 1 was like totally alien to you, download the Ultimate Guide to Healthy Eating Made Simple. It's free. It's a super good resource that just really does simplify all kind of the stuff out there and helps you focus on just the big rocks first and helps you get the basics down before you start worrying about, kind of more advanced techniques or things like that. So I'll link those 2 things. I hope that you found this to be beneficial. If you have any questions about meal plans or really anything nutrition or exercise related, feel free to ask me. If you are not a member of my private Facebook group, Live Diet Free, it's for women only. But if you are not a member, we would love to have you, and I do a live Q&A there every week on Thursdays, so that's a great avenue to ask questions. It can be anonymous, that's totally fine, but it's a great group of women in there, and oftentimes the questions that one person asks are questions that a lot of people in the group have had. So there are some videos in the archive in there already if you want to join and kind of go back over some things we've discussed recently. I hope you guys are having a great start to the week, and I will talk to you later.